Yeah, what we have over here, this is the most exclusive beef of the world. It's the Japanese Wagyu, and we imported it from the prefecture of Gunma, which is like 2-hour drive from Tokyo. Japanese Wagyu has a beautiful story. I will tell a short story about it. Back in the days, and we talk about 150 years to 200 years ago, they made the meat only for the emperor and the soldiers, because the emperor needs the highest quality of beef, and the soldiers who defend him also deserves that kind of beef. After the Second World War, it gets opened for their own population, so the normal Japanese people who could afford it could get this kind of meat. And only since 2014 they are exporting their beef through Europe.
I heard as well that the Japanese population, they prefer the secondary cuts, and they try to export the normal cuts, like the tenderloin.
Yeah, but just like over here, the Japanese Wagyu is very expensive, also for the regular Japanese man. So they actually only eat 1 or 2 times meat a week. Mostly they eat fish. So if you have the secondary cuts, those are more cheaper. So they actually make dishes out of those kind of cuts instead of the primary cuts like the strip loin, ribeye, and the tenderloin.
But is it the same with, I mean, if you have just regular beef, then, for instance, I don't like a steak because there's not too much taste in it.
No.
I guess with Wagyu, with all the fat inside, there is more than enough taste.
Because of the extreme marbling it has, the fat wires inside the meat, it gets a taste explosion. It's unbelievable when you first experience the taste of the Japanese Wagyu. You can't compare it to any kinds of other meat. No, this is actually a full-blood Wagyu. That means that and the mother and the father are a full-blood Wagyu cow, and those are actually only exist in Japan. In Japan, they never export a living animal, so all Wagyu breeds outside Japan are all crossbreeds, because the semen has to be combined with a Hereford or a Black Angus or other kind of breed. So that's the big difference, and that's why the marbling is way more intense. The fat color is beautiful white, and also the flavor of the meat is way different than the other Wagyu.
And why does it take so long that they started exporting this to Europe?
Because they want to make exclusive only for themselves. Japanese people are very proud civilization, and they want to keep it for themselves, but in 2014 they saw the need to export and to make money out of it.
So why is there no bone?
The reason that it doesn't have a bone is about the expiration date. When it has a bone in, the expiration date is way shorter than when the bone is out, because on the bone the bacteria will grow faster than without the bone. So that's why we import it without the bone, to have an opportunity to get a longer shelf life on the product.
Ah, wow.
And normally if you go to the supermarket and you buy meat, you can see that the expiry date is probably a week. But on all your meat, you have an expiry date at least fresh, like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
It depends. If we are cutting it, so we pack it out of the package, we always give a guarantee of 10 days. If you keep your meat in the original packaging, then you can keep it up for almost 2 months. Some good beef you can hold for 4 months after slaughtering. So that's fresh, so that's quite long. And if you freeze it in when it's still very good, then you can store it for at least a year.
That's good to know. Just to remember how rich this is. So normally you would serve, I don't know, maybe 150, 200 grams of beef. With this, I think you only need 50 grams before you're done.
Yes, that's true. It's very rich, and you need a little to get fulfilled with the flavor.
So the big boys on the table doesn't have to get a whole steak?
Well, when I talk about my own experience, I ate one time a steak of 200 grams, and you get stomach ache. You don't feel well because it's so intense. Your stomach can't handle it, and make small portions to get your guest happy instead of a big one, and they feel ill after.
But it's also a good alternative if people want their steak well done. You can use this one as well to have still tender and it's well done.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, actually, I advise to serve the steak at least medium. The reason why is because of the amount of fat it has to get the opportunity to melt. And if it's melted, it will combine with the meat, and you get the beautiful flavor that the Japanese Wagyu has. And if you don't do it, then the fat is still too cold, and then it's a way different experience of eating the meat.
And I know when guest or crew orders a steak well done, the chef is like,
yeah. Well, I don't prefer well done as well, but yeah. Well, everybody has their own opinion, and if they would like to get your steak well done, then yeah, choose for a kind of beef that has a marbling inside. So it can be a Japanese Wagyu or a black Angus from Creekstone, which has a good marbling, because those fat wires make it tender even when it's well done.
And that's corn fat probably, because then you have the nice.
Yeah, it's corn fat, and if you have a corn fat or a grain fat, black Angus, then you get a high marbling inside the meat, and that's different.
So never order a grass-fed beef well done.
Yeah, well, I can say that. Yeah.